Welcome to Are You Fucking Kidding Me? A thoughtful parenting podcast. The show that takes you from diaper disasters to the legendary teenage eye roll. I'm your host, Clementine Lord, here to guide you through every stage of parenting, from toddlers testing your patience to adult children testing your Wi-Fi limits. Parenting is a wild ride, and no matter your child's age, you'll always find a moment where you think, are you fucking kidding me? Welcome back to Are You Fucking Kidding Me? A thoughtful parenting podcast. The show where we dig through the dumpster fire of modern parenting and try to find some meaning, or at least a decent punchline. Today's topic, kids who sign up for every activity under the sun. Soccer, drama club, coding camp, only to quit halfway through. Why? Because commitment is the enemy and my wallet is the battlefield. Did anyone else get the Jordan Sparks song stuck in your head? Just me? Sweet. Or maybe these little geniuses have actually mastered self-care, while we, the adults, are still doom scrolling through TikTok at midnight, assuming you still have TikTok to doom scroll at midnight. Either way, we're going there. So grab a tea, a beer, or whatever pairs best with existential despair. And let's talk about why our kids quit everything. Let's set the scene. Your kid begs for basketball camp. Side note, by your kid, I mean my kid. Anyway, your kid begs for basketball camp. I'm talking daily reminders, middle of dinner monologues, how they are going to be the next Caitlin Clark. You cave, fork over the cash, rearrange your schedule, and 2 practices in, they're done. Done with basketball, done with coaches, done with life as we know it. I mean, really? What did they think basketball camp was? A knitting circle? Not to bash knitting, I also paid for my kid to do yarn art camp, and she knits on the side, so really, she should know. And it's not just my kid. I've got friends whose kids quit soccer, theater, and even chess, because apparently sitting still is also too much work. Whatever the activity, parents everywhere are left wondering, why the fuck bother? So let's break this down to 2 parts. Where childhood is now and where it has been. Because understanding the history of how kids approach commitments today is everything. So, a brief look back. Not that long ago, depending on who you ask, quitting was not a thing. Childhood was survival mode. Kids worked on farms, in factories, or wherever they were needed. There was no violin class to quit, because frankly, there wasn't a violin class. Period. Fast forward to post-World War II boom, and suddenly kids had more free time and parents had a little bit more disposable income. And that's when structured activities like Little League, ballet, and travel soccer started taking off. These were supposed to be about enrichment, but they also came with one big expectation: commitment. You didn't just try baseball, you played every damn game, even if you hated it or spent the entire season picking daisies in the outfield. By the 70s and 80s, the message was clear. Quitting was failure, and nobody wanted to raise a quitter. And then today happened. Somehow, childhood is all about self-exploration and self-expression. The cultural narrative is find your passion. But with so many options, travel leagues, coding camps, art classes, kids are so overwhelmed. And parents, we're burnt out trying to keep up. Find your passion, they said. It will be fun, they said. Except it's not. Not when finding your passion comes with a catalog the size of a small country and the constant fear that you're picking the wrong one. Gone are the days when a kid could try soccer for the fall, discover they hate running, and move on to something else. Now, it's like, welcome to soccer. Here's your $300 custom cleats, your 7-day-a-week schedule, and 12-year commitment. No pressure, though. And sports aren't alone in this madness. Coding camps now start for kids as young as 4, because apparently, if your preschool isn't building apps by next Tuesday, they're doomed for a life of mediocrity. Art classes, better hope your kid shows Picasso-level talent on day one, or you're probably wasting time and money. Travel leagues, STEM competitions, cheer competitives, theater intensives, it's all become this high-stakes game of what if my kid misses out. Then there's the social media factor. Kids are exposed to so many incredible achievements, all neatly packaged into 60-second TikToks or Instagram reels. A 9-year-old pianist performing at Carnegie Hall, a middle schooler designing robots, a 15-year-old already selling her second clothing line. Every day, there's a new dream they didn't even know they were supposed to have. It's like playing emotional whack-a-mole, and parents are left trying to nurture every spark of interest their kid shows, just in case this is the thing that sticks. And let's be honest, it's usually not. Then we add the overarching pressure to perform, not just enjoy something, but to fucking excel at it. There's this unspoken rule that passion is only valid if it comes with awards, scholarships, or at least a viral moment. God forbid your kid just likes to dabble. That's not good enough anymore. The bar has shifted from find what makes you happy to find what makes you stand out. But the kicker, it isn't our kids driving this reckless ship. It's us, the fucking insane parents who have decided for our kids that dabbling means you're weak. So, how do we support our kids in exploring the world without burning ourselves out? How do we remind them, and quite honestly, ourselves, that it's okay to quit things, fail at things, or just be mediocre at something that they actually enjoy? This is the real conversation we need to be having. This find your passion culture, it's leaving everyone exhausted and wondering, what are we really chasing? Unicorns and fairies? Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny? Good God, I have no fucking idea. But I do know that there is some science behind it all. You see, life can be broken down into stages of what is going in our kids' heads based on their age. Our younger kids, ages 5 to 10, well, these little gremlins, they live entirely in the moment. The idea of delayed gratification, like practicing now for a recital 6 months from now, it is a completely foreign concept. When I say foreign, I mean not even on the radar or worth the time to waste energy on foreign. So they fight us every step of the way. They chase novelty like I chase coffee. A new activity sounds fun, but sticking with it when it's boring or hard, nope, not gonna happen. When my son was in this age group, probably around 5 or 6, he joined a local city club soccer league. As we watched our son play, we realized he really just loved the people on the field, not the sport. This notion was solidified when at the start of the second half of his game, instead of playing, he and another kid on the opposing team just hugged it out right there on center field. Was I shocked when he said he didn't want to do soccer the next season? Can't say that I was. Then we have our tweens, ages 10 to 13. Tweens are feeling all the feels. Their limbic system, the emotional and reward center of their brain, is in overdrive, while their prefrontal cortex, the logical and planning part, is still under construction. So that means they're super sensitive to embarrassment and peer pressure. A bad game or a missed note in a music class can feel like the end of the world. And honestly, it's more than a feeling. It is the end of the world, as they know it. As adults in these kids' lives, we need to lean hard into the validation response with our kids at this age, saying things like, gosh, that sounds so embarrassing. What did you do to recover? Or, oh man, that just sounds hard. Are you wanting me to listen or help solve this hard problem? Then we get to the point where we feel like we may be in the clear. Our kids become teenagers, 14 to 18. By this age, their decision-making skills are better, but they're still chasing dopamine highs. They thrive on immediate rewards, getting a trophy, hitting a goal. But the grind leading up to those moments, for the most part, and for most of them, it's torture. Social dynamics play a massive role at this age. If their friends quit, they might follow. Or worse, they'll stay in an activity they hate just to fit in. I remember my freshman year of high school, I had friends who thought the theater classes I did were lame and took time away from our friendship. And I had to agree. Or I thought I did. So I showed up on the first day of my theater class and I told my instructor, I just didn't think the after-school program I'd been doing since second grade was for me. And I took the year off. The worst part was that I missed it all the time. And when my sophomore year rolled around, I couldn't wait to go back. Friends be damned. Oddly enough, I'm still involved in theater, and it is such a big part of who I am. So between the evolution of childhood and where their brains are at, we're basically fighting a losing battle. But at least we're fighting it together. Now, before we chalk it all up to short attention spans and shifting interests, there's something else we need to consider. Sometimes quitting isn't about boredom or frustration. It's about something deeper. Because sometimes it's not a lack of interest or effort. It's their body telling them this just isn't working. And when that happens, quitting isn't giving up. It is self-preservation. Here are a few medical reasons that might be at play. Sensory processing challenges. Some kids, they experience sensory overload. Bright stadium lights, loud whistles, scratchy uniforms, or the echoing chaos of a gym can be super overwhelming. For example, my kid quit gymnastics because the leotard was itchy. At first, I thought, okay, Veruca Salt, but later I realized sensory sensitivities are a real issue. I really discovered this when she insisted on going to preschool naked and barefoot. Then I knew we had a problem. However, here are some tips to help if you have a sensory issue when it comes to organized sports and activities. Adjust the environment. For loud sports, see if they can wear earplugs. For uniforms, explore softer materials. See if that's an option. You can experiment with alternatives. A child overwhelmed by noisy sports might thrive in a quieter setting, like yoga or swimming. Really, the best thing you can do is help your child identify what's bothering them and then brainstorm solutions together. It isn't our job to solve all of the problems. We need to teach our kids how to do the same. Another issue could be injuries. Some injuries are obvious. A twisted ankle, a broken wrist, a concussion that sidelines them for weeks. But other times, the injuries are less about physical damage and more about emotional overload. Kids under intense pressure, whether from coaches, parents, or honestly, their own perfectionism, might start experiencing what are called phantom injuries. Aches and pains with no clear medical cause. It's not that they're faking. Their stress and anxiety can actually manifest real physical discomfort. A sudden stomach ache before a big game, chronic knee pain that has no clear diagnosis, these can be signs that a child's body is responding to the stress in the only way it knows how, by forcing them to go into a mandatory timeout. In situations like this, you can listen without dismissing. Even if the injury seems minor or mysteriously vanishes when it's time for something fun, acknowledge their pain. I hear you. Let's figure this out together. Rule out the physical. Have a quick check-in with your primary doctor or physical therapist and determine if there's an actual injury or if it's something deeper going on. When my daughter went to basketball camp this past summer, she spent the first 2 days in the trainer's office with asthma symptoms, even though she used her inhaler. Ends up, it wasn't asthma at all. It was a panic attack. We had to check the pressure meter. Was she feeling overwhelmed by the competition, expectations, or a fear of failure? How did we do this? We asked open-ended questions like, how do you feel before a game or practice? What's the hardest part about basketball camp for you right now? And if you could change one thing about this experience, what would it be? Another question I could have asked, but I didn't. What do you enjoy most about this activity? And what do you enjoy least? From there, we were able to create an exit ramp. I let her know that quitting doesn't have to be an emergency decision. It eased her anxiety about making the drastic choice. And then I had to help teach stress management, breathing exercises, mindfulness, and even just talking through her feelings helped my kid process the stress in ways that didn't involve a sudden, mysterious limp. Another thing we can do is reframe success. If the pressure to perform is the problem, shift the focus from winning or being the best to having fun, improving skills, or just enjoying the experience. And finally, I think there is a lot to be said for normalizing walking away. Sometimes the best thing a kid can learn is that it's okay to say this isn't for me. Help them see that quitting something that isn't serving them isn't failure, it's self-awareness. Another area that's medically important to know is overuse injuries. Overuse injuries happen when kids do the same motion over and over without enough rest, variety, or proper conditioning. Think about a little leaguer who pitches year-round, a gymnast who's constantly pounding their joints on the mat, or a cross-country runner logging in miles on growing bones. Their bodies are still developing, which means muscles, tendons, and growth plates are more vulnerable to strain. The risk, chronic issues like stress fractures, tendinitis, and joint damage that can stick around long after their sports career ends. Kids who specialize too early, meaning they play only one sport year-round with no break, are at a much higher risk of these injuries. The problem isn't just physical. Repetitive motions can lead to burnout, making kids lose interest in a sport they once loved. So what can you do? Mix it up. Encourage cross-training, rest days, and even completely different activities during the off-season. Watch for signs of pain that don't go away with rest. And don't let playing through it be the default. A kid's body isn't built for nonstop grinding, no matter how much talent they have. And the next big medical issue, and one that stands out to me the most, is mental health. Mental health struggles in sports go deeper than the phantom injuries I mentioned before. Anxiety, perfectionism, depression, and self-worth issues don't just show up before a big game. They follow kids everywhere. It's not just about avoiding an activity, it's about how they see themselves. The stakes feel enormous, and quitting becomes the only way to quiet the internal noise of, I'm not good enough. All kids struggle with confidence at times, but there are signs that there is something bigger going on. Extreme self-criticism. If they're constantly beating themselves up over mistakes or never feel like they're good enough, that's a red flag. Avoidance beyond the sport. Are they pulling away from friends, avoiding social situations, not wanting to try new things in general? Those are all, again, red flags. Changes in mood. Irritability, mood swings, or shutting down when sports are brought up, that might be a bigger issue that leads to a mental health conversation or diagnosis. Physical symptoms without a cause. Headaches, stomach aches, and exhaustion that don't have a medical explanation. Another one is all or nothing thinking. I'm not the best, I'm terrible. When kids put their entire identity on performance, failure feels catastrophic. So how do we support kids struggling with sports-related mental health issues? We validate their feelings. Even if it feels small to you, it's huge to them. Say something like, I get why missing that shot felt bad. That really doesn't define who you are. Separate effort from outcome. Praise their hard work, not just the success. I love how you keep trying, even when it's tough. And keep sports fun. Remind them why they started playing in the first place. Pressure sucks the joy out of it. And if all else fails, encourage other outlets. If perfectionism is the issue, give them spaces where mistakes don't feel like failures. Creative activities, non-competitive hobbies, or just playing for fun. And overall, as parents and caregivers for teens and kids in sports, is watch for bigger patterns. If their anxiety or perfectionism is affecting school, friendships, daily life, it might be time to check in with your primary care provider or a therapist. Quitting sports is one thing. Quitting on themselves is a completely different thing. At the end of the day, it's okay to walk away from an activity, but no kid should feel like they have to walk away from their own happiness to do it. So as adults and parents, how do we fucking handle all of this? Although this list isn't exhaustive, it's a pretty damn good start without losing your sanity. Set clear expectations up front. Before they sign up, establish rules. You're sticking with this until the end of the season. But if you hate it, you don't have to sign up again. Pause before reacting. Ask questions first. Is it boredom, burnout, or something bigger? Ask the questions before you lecture or get mad. Adjust instead of quitting. Sometimes the activity isn't the problem, it's the specifics. A soccer player may hate running, but love playing goalie and will thrive in that position. Celebrate the small wins. Praise their progress after every practice, not just at the recitals or games. Don't coach your kid after practice or a game. Let their coach do that. Unless your kid asks for feedback, keep your mouth shut. This is the one I struggle the most on, and I have to remind myself, keep your mouth shut. Know when to let go. If they've genuinely tried and still hate it, let them quit without guilt. Not everything has to be a lifelong commitment. How do we pump the brakes on this runaway train of overscheduled chaos without feeling like we're failing our kids or worse, setting them up to fail? It's not like we can just opt out completely. Sure, we'd love to tell the world, thanks, but we're not participating in the rat race. But then we're haunted by the fear of being that parent. You know, the one who doesn't give their kid every opportunity, the one who says no to the extra travel league, skips the AP prep camps, or chooses the local summer art camp instead of the one taught by someone who apprenticed under Banksy. It's hard to opt out when everyone around you is opting all the way in. But maybe it's not about opting out entirely. Maybe it's about stepping back and asking, what are we really trying to achieve here? Is it about giving our kids a childhood full of exploration and joy? Or are we accidentally turning it into a relentless pursuit of achievement, where the joy gets lost somewhere between piano lessons and the third game of the week? If it's the former, and really please take that time and think deep down, is it? Then we have to start redefining what success looks like. It's probably not a resume full of overachieving extracurriculars before your kid hits high school. Maybe success is letting your kid quit soccer when it's not their thing and knowing that doesn't make them or you a failure. Maybe it's recognizing that a kid doesn't have to excel at something to benefit from it. Maybe the real win is letting them try something, have fun with it, and walk away with a life lesson or two. And maybe, just maybe, it's okay for your kid to be average at something they love. Imagine that. A world where you can play the violin badly, paint just okay, or kick a soccer ball like you're aiming for the moon and still call it a success. So parents, let's rewrite the script. Let's stop chasing this mythical perfect passion and start focusing on the stuff that really matters. Raising curious, happy kids who feel safe to explore, fail, and try again. Childhood is to be about, not preparing them for some hypothetical audition in the spotlight, but teaching them that life is about the journey, not the resume. They'll find their thing eventually, and when they do, you'll still have a pile of old uniforms and gear to pass on to the next kid or sell on Marketplace. Remember, quitting isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a sign that a kid is learning to listen to themselves. Whether it's their body saying, this hurts, their mind saying, this is too much, or their heart saying, this just isn't for me. Our job isn't to push them to stick it out at all costs. It's to help them figure out when to preserve and when to pivot. And speaking of childhood wake-up calls, next week, we're diving into one of the biggest betrayals of youth, the day the tooth fairy died. Get ready for some hard truths, shattered illusions, and maybe a few crumpled dollar bills. We'll see you then. Until next time, thanks for listening to Are You Fucking Kidding Me? A thoughtful parenting podcast.